Angry MGTOW here, or something like that. And today we're going to be discussing why feminism is being demolished on all sides. So we'll go ahead and play the intro, and then we're going to be looking at two things. One is going to be an interview that Kellyanne Conway, who is an advisor to President Trump, she, people know her from the campaign. She is one of Donald Trump's, if not Donald Trump's, closest confidant. And she basically talks about what her position on feminism is, which is going to be shocking to a lot of people. And then we also have this amazing video by a guy featured named Big Joe, and you'll basically see how he goes after the whole politically correct social justice warrior bullshit that has infected America. And this just points at how it's literally being demolished on all sides. Feminism is being dismantled on all sides. So let's go ahead and play the introduction for you guys. I find it hilarious that there are days now where I don't play the intro and you're like, I want my intro. So we'll go ahead and play the intro, and then we'll start up the video. Okay, so we'll just jump straight into the video, and I don't think I forgot to mute the intro, so we might have heard a little bit of an echo. I forgot to mute the mic, but this should be fine. So let's just go ahead and jump right into the video.
All right, sir, my name is Jeffrey. What is your name?
They call me Big Joe.
Big Joe. Yeah. I can see why. Big Joe, what are you doing here today?
I'm just passing through. I have nothing to do with this whatever you want to call this. I don't even understand why they're having this. They had an inauguration yesterday, and now we have all this. What did Trump do for all of this to happen? He just came into office. What is this? I see signs of unity and love and peace, and yet at his inauguration they were burning a McDonald's, a Starbucks, limousines, and anarchy in the streets. This is what is this? When he was elected rightfully, by the majority of the country, that so even though there are half the country like this that disapprove, what about the other half that do like him? What about them? What about their feelings? When Obama was president and he pushed his political agenda, political correctness, and he pushed all his agendas, did you see people doing all this? No, because we united behind our American president, and we stuck it out and everything. So what? What?
Yeah, can you come in here? Come in here. Huh? Come in here. Come in here. Come in.
Trump was not? Trump was not.
What made him not? When was he not elected?
You're oblivious. You're on a bicycle and you're oblivious. You're
electoral. What are you talking about? Wait a minute.
What do you think we're here for?
Trump.
We're here to make a change, and people like you are the reason there's still a problem.
Listen, I'm against political correctness. No, people like you with your political correctness agenda. Political correctness. You know what? Political correctness is un-American. Why you think? You know why Trump couldn't get anyone to his inauguration? Because of the McCarthyism Hollywood that was going to stigmatize somebody for supporting Trump. This is the United States.
So there you have it. Here you have a big black man who is recognizing that feminism, social justice warriors, the left has been nothing but toxic and damaging to culture and society. And he's immediately attacked by some black woman, maybe a mixed race black woman, wearing dreadlocks. And she's attacking him, saying, know your race, know your history. And he's going to begin shutting her down on every level possible. It's pretty interesting because this just highlights how the country is sick and tired of what has happened. And I want you guys to listen to his points very carefully. And, something interesting. She goes and says, you're just some guy on a bicycle. What the hell is that? She immediately attacks him based on the way he looks. It's funny because You would think that that would be something the political left, the right would do, judging someone based on the way they looked, such as their skin color, right? Here's a big black guy on a bicycle, and as soon as he disagrees with a liberal, she starts calling him out based on his appearance and his social status because he's riding a bike.
United States of America, you could support Trump and still be without ostracizing. You want to ostracize someone and then you're going to turn around and make life difficult for them? That's political correctness is a disease.
I feel sorry for you.
Oh yeah, I feel sorry for you because Planned Parenthood is a racist system. Margaret Sanger was a Planned Parenthood. You know what? Margaret Sanger thought very low of black people. She thought they were.
And here you have it, where he calls out political correctness and he labels it straightforward a mental illness.
They were ignorant and they shouldn't exist and reproduce. And you know what Planned Parenthood is about? Planned Parenthood is to sterilize black people.
You cannot put down one
You should be against Planned Parenthood. We shouldn't be funding any type of Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood is a joke. And anyone that doesn't know their history, know your history about Margaret Sanger, the beginning of Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood is the most racist organization. Know your history before you start supporting some. Okay?
You see that? You try
what? That's why I'm not a woman. I'm a man. A straight man. I'm a man. A straight man. You know your history about Planned Parenthood. Do you know about Planned Parenthood?
Tell me about Planned Parenthood.
Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger, the whole reason for Planned Parenthood was to sterilize black people so they wouldn't reproduce.
There's people it's helping. There are people it's helping.
It changed with the rest of the world.
Yeah, okay, so Trump is not a racist. Trump is not
Donald Trump, the moment he learns two words. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
You can't speak
Sorry
those
to
two words.
who? What? People that don't support him?
And there you have it. Look at this old white cuck immediately saying that Planned Parenthood changed with the rest of the world. Interestingly enough, he doesn't deny that Planned Parenthood definitely had its own agenda. He's basically saying Planned Parenthood changed with the rest of the world, so it's no longer the evil organization, even though Planned Parenthood has helped to potentially abort over 10 million black babies since 1973. But hey, it's not an evil organization. They're just helping women, protecting women's health, which is another interesting fact about Planned Parenthood. Because Planned Parenthood doesn't offer any prenatal services. At least not something like 90-something% of all Planned Parenthoods do not offer any prenatal services, despite the claim that they do. There was actually a reporter who called one Planned Parenthood after another asking about prenatal services, and they made it very clear that they did not offer any. In fact, one representative went as far as saying, yeah, we don't know why they say that they do. All we offer are abortions. Planned Parenthood offers abortions. It's an abortion mill. That's what happens there. It's a sick, psychotic, disgusting organization that has helped to destroy the lives and kill countless Americans that had no ability or no capacity to speak for themselves. But let's keep listening a bit more.
People that don't support it, I'm not offended by Trump, and that half the country is not offended by Trump. So what about them? What about them? What about the rest of the country that's not offended by Trump? What about them? Huh? What? Everybody's afraid of you guys Because if they stand up for Trump, they're deemed a racist and everything, and everybody's terrified. And you got them doing it because of political correctness and all this craziness. This is wrong. This is the United States of America. You don't like, you say he's not your president, then you shouldn't be here. Leave. Many of the those elitist Hollywood people that said they were going to leave, they didn't leave. They're protesting now. You don't like him, you don't want to be here, then leave. This is a free country. What you're doing now, you're going to bring anarchy, and then you know what's going to happen? Martial law. And these freedoms that you're talking about now, you're going to lose them. And then you're going to understand what a real situation. You have people in this group who are socialists, who are anti-American and anti-our freedom, and they're latching on your different causes, and they're playing on your emotions so that they can get you all riled up, so that you can turn around and continue to do what you're doing and divide the country, and then bring about chaos and anarchy so that they can bring martial law. That's what's really going on. Open your eyes and use your head. That's what's happening. I know for a fact, I've seen these socialists in your group. I've seen them at rally. They even make signs for you people, and you don't understand what's going on. You have to open your heart. You better be smart. You might have some good causes and everything, but you need.
So right here, he's calling out the socialists and the anti-Americans, pointing out that he's seen them and they're in their group. I mean, these are the same people that are helping to make signs for them. Let's talk a little bit about what's his name, George Soros. George Soros bet that Hillary Clinton was going to win the president election. And he believed that when she won the president election, she would destabilize the economy. And as a result of destabilizing the economy, he'd be able to make a shitload of money. He spent tons and tons of money helping to fuel the Black Lives Matter movement. For what reason? Simple, to destabilize the economy. This is something that George Soros has done numerous times. He did it with Russia. There's an interview out there where he talks about the amoral things he did. He once had a meeting with Nelson Mandela, where Nelson Mandela asked him, "How do I protect my country from people like you?" George Soros clearly outright says he does amoral things. The question actually came up if he thought he was a god. And he basically said he does not think he's a god, but he does evil things. He admits to it flat out. I think it was in a CBS interview. If I can find it, I will play it for you guys. But this actually happened. This actually happened. You know what's funny? It's really interesting about this guy. When I first saw him, I heard the way he was talking, and I didn't think he was going to be incredibly educated. But then you start listening to the words that he's using, and you realize this is a very intelligent guy. He may not actually be born in America for all we know.
You need to choose your battles. Trump didn't do anything yet. Choose your battles correctly. Use your head. Huh? Education, what's the problem? What is Trump doing about education? He just got into office. Huh? Education, not for nothing. I'm going to tell you something right now. Everybody is the controlled media. Education has taught you guys that you're following the controlled media, that whoever they demonize, you just automatically follow. If that's what education does for you, then we need to change it. Because you shouldn't be like that. You should be free thinkers, and you should be able to see right from wrong. You don't, because you're following whoever someone gets on TV and says, this is so, and then you just follow it. That's not using your head. That's not being smart. People, wake up. Be smart. Okay? You want to be logical. You want to be smart. Be smart. But don't follow all this nonsense just because you want to be. There's so many people that supported Trump, but they were afraid to openly support him. But you know when they supported him? In the voting booth. And that's what all of you people didn't understand. A lot of people supported Trump, but they were afraid. They're even your friends, but they were afraid to tell you they supported him. And you know what? When they went to the voting booth,
now, he said something very interesting that whites have been saying for quite some time. If you don't like it, leave. You know, you have a lot of African Americans who constantly complain about the things happening in the country when they're doing absolutely nothing to fix their own lives and begging for handouts, demanding them. And people say, leave, go back to Africa. And again, I'm not advocating that blacks should go back to Africa. I'm just basically saying what the common notion is, what people have said. But if you hear what this black man is saying, is he's saying, if you don't support the president, if you don't like our country, leave. Leave. And there's nothing racist about saying it. But if a white man was to say this, he would be attacked and demonized and socially castrated for expressing a point. If America is for Americans, if you don't like the country, leave. When Barack Obama became president, there was no such thing as rallying in the streets. If you dared say something along the lines of you didn't like him, people would start, saying you're possibly a racist. Now Trump is president. He's a racist. You have the white media calling him a racist. Are you kidding me? And I find something interesting about Donald Trump. I don't know if you guys know this, but he actually met with Steve Harvey, I think last week. Steve Harvey actually went after Donald Trump back during the election after the statement came out where he said you can grab him by the pussy. Steve Harvey attacked Donald Trump, basically saying, you can't say that about a woman. You cannot say that. That's something you just don't say. Fast forward, and he's meeting with Donald Trump to discuss his concerns about the African American community, and Trump finds time to actually sit down and talk with this nobody, Steve Harvey, and says that he'll actually get him in touch with Ben Carson so they can work together to facilitate change in the inner cities. And then it's funny because Saturday Night Live did a skit criticizing Steve Harvey for being involved now. And Steve Harvey stands there shamelessly with Donald Trump, who he literally attacked and said all this shit about. It's amazing. Think about this very carefully. Kanye West had a mental breakdown, ended up in the hospital. A week or two later, he has a meeting with Donald Trump. He met with Donald Trump for like 15 minutes. Donald Trump even extended him the honor of walking him out. This was before the inauguration. While Donald Trump is setting up meeting with tons of people, he has so much work to do. He makes the time to meet with Kanye fucking West. But Donald Trump's a racist. Donald Trump is a racist, but he's a sexist, he's a misogynist, he hates black people. But then he meets with Steve Harvey, and Steve comes out saying he seemed very sincere, and now he's getting a position to work with Carson to basically implement the changes that he actually wants. Does he think something like that would have ever happened under Obama? I mean, you guys have to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. Trump has shown time and time again that he is one of the most generous, most open-minded, and most giving people, especially with his time. I mean, at a time when he is extremely busy, he's still making time for these crackheads. You gotta be kidding me.
They voted for him, and that's where all of you people right now, all of you people are now shocked because you couldn't believe that he could be elected, because nobody thought he would have been elected. But guess what? He is elected, and he is our president. And you need to unite behind him now, because you know what? If you continue to do what you're doing, you are going to divide this country. You are going to bring about martial law. You're going to lose your rights. You're going to lose your freedoms. And then your biggest fear, he will be a dictator then. You better be smart, people. You don't understand what's about ready to happen. Wake up and be smart.
And here he points out that these people are literally laying the groundwork for martial law. They're essentially going to turn Trump into the so-called dictator that they fear, as they are burning trash cans, attacking, destroying public property, beating police officers. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. If Trump supporters were out in the streets just marching, the cops would be out in full force. People would be screaming racism. They would be calling them, white supremacists. But because they're libertards, it's something completely different. They're noble. Oh my gosh. You've got to be kidding me. And like I said, a moment ago, you saw this old white man, this baby boomer, standing there with this old white woman and basically chanting that Planned Parenthood was not a bad organization and trying to stick the liberal agenda down our throats. Guys, I said this before, that the baby boomer men, they fucked us over. They were knee deep in pussy and cocaine back in the 70s. They didn't give a fuck about how things would turn out. They were just happy that they could get access to easy pussy and drugs. They were smoking crack. They were smoking pot in the 70s. So they were smoking all the pot they could and getting as much pussy as they could back in the 70s. In the 80s, they did cocaine. In the mid to late 80s, they started doing crack. And things got so bad that then they passed all those don't do drug laws and all this other crap. In 1990, when I was 8 years old, 7 in 1990. 1990, when I was like 7, there were all these posters, don't do drugs. The dog says, they had like pictures of, Mr. McGruff, don't you touch drugs, don't you go near drugs. And I'm thinking, what the hell? My generation, we're just little kids. We have, what the hell are you yelling at us and telling us don't do drugs? We're just little kids. And then you come to realize when you get older that it was because all of the baby boomers were doing so many drugs and they did so many bad things that they passed all these drug laws, and then they basically started yelling at us little kids, at us millennials, like we were the ones responsible for all the stupid shit that they had done.
Happen. Wake up and be smart.
So that's the end of the video. And I mean, he makes excellent points. More and more people are waking up. More and more men, more and more people, women, in fact, are realizing we don't want this anymore. We're not going to have a country going forward. I mean, we're on the brink of losing everything. Our freedom, our capacity to think as individuals, our rights just to travel, all of that shit's gonna go. Now, we're going to be looking at an article that was actually discussed recently. Kellyanne Conway did an interview recently where she discussed if she was a feminist or not. And I'm going to just tell you who Kellyanne Conway is very quickly. So Kellyanne Conway, and we'll just go ahead and grab this from her. She is Kellyanne Elizabeth Conway is an American Republican campaign manager, strategist, pollster, and trusted advisor to President Donald Trump. She holds the title of Counselor to the President. She's actually 50 years old, and she has a son, George T. Conway, born in she has two children. She has Claudia Conway and George and George Conway. So she has a daughter and a son. I believe her son is 12, actually, but don't hold me to that. And she is the senior. She is a trusted advisor to the president. She was also his campaign manager. She has the president's ear. So, she's highly respected and she's highly valued in the Trump administration. And let me see if I can put up a picture for you guys just so you can see what she looks like. Let me see if I can grab that. But you should know who Kellyanne Conway is at this point. Let's see here, Kelly. So I just got a picture for you guys, and I just put it up briefly so that you can at least see who she is. So that's Kellyanne Conway. Now, what did Kellyanne Conway say? What did Kellyanne Conway say recently when she was asked about if she was a feminist? Well, I'm going to be looking at the Daily Caller, and they're basically covering the topic. Kellyanne Conway, President Donald Trump's counselor, had some interesting things to say about feminism in a question and answer with the Washington Post. Washington Post staff writer Joe Heim asked Conway, "Do you consider yourself a feminist?" She replied to that, "No, she does not." Conway then proceeded to tear feminism apart in 9 sentences. Now, don't take my word for it. Let's see what she actually said and read it together. Let's see here. There we go. She said, "I don't consider myself a feminist. I think my generation isn't a big fan of labels. My favorite label is mommy. I feel like the feminist movement has been hijacked by the pro-abortion movement or the anti-male sentiments that you read in some of their propaganda and writings. I'm not anti-male. One does not need to be pro-female and call yourself a feminist. When it comes to that whole anti-male culture where we want young boys to sit down and shut up in the classroom, and we have all these commercials that show what a feckless boob the man in the house is. That's not the way I see the men in my life, most especially my 12-year-old son. I consider myself a post-feminist. I consider myself one of these women who is a product of her choices, not a victim of her circumstances." That is what Kellyanne Conway had to say. She even said further that, frankly, she didn't see the point of the Women's March on Washington Saturday. And the march was one day after Trump's inauguration. She stated that you have celebrities from the podium using profanity-laced insults, referring to Madonna especially, who dropped the F-bomb 3 times. It was actually shown by 3 stations that allowed her to drop it multiple times, with C-SPAN 3 choosing not to censor it at all. But CNN actually allowed her to play it. Actually played it. Multiple stations actually played Madonna using the F word, saying fuck, fuck, fuck on live television and acting like it was some type of noble endeavor. And where the so-called fines or the uproar about this happening on TV? Nowhere. Because it was said by one of their so-called goddesses, the great women. You gotta be fucking kidding me. She actually goes on to say, you have celebrities from the podium using profanity-laced insults. You have a very prominent singer, referring to Madonna, who's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, not going over to a women's shelter here in D.C. to write a check, but instead saying that she thought of, quote, burning down the White House. Madonna talked about burning down the White House. And yet this is okay, guys? She goes on to say that we're becoming too inured and inoculated against how precious life really is, whether it's in the womb or at the end of our years. This out of sight, out of mind mentality has run headstrong now into science and medicine. I mean, guys, this is the woman who is Donald Trump, potentially his most trusted advisor. This is her take on feminism. This is setting a major tone of where the so-called Trump administration is going with feminism. You put these type of women, they're going to cut feminist programs. They're going to rip apart these gender studies programs on college universities. They are going to do These type of women are going to spit upon the libertards, upon the social justice warriors. There's something funny about women. Women don't actually mind seeing other women suffer. They don't. The only reason why women help other women is because they don't want themselves to end up suffering. But when it all comes down to it, one woman will let another woman die without any care in the world. You gotta be kidding me. Women don't actually care about other women. They don't. They honestly don't. This is huge. This is huge. I said feminism is dead in 2017. 2017 is the year feminism dies. 2018 is the year feminism doesn't know it's dead. Okay? And it literally is they're walking around society like a corpse, like a zombie. They're like they're walking dead. They don't realize that people don't see them anymore. Guys, we've entered a new age. And I mean, Donald Trump's moving fast. As soon as he gets to college campuses, he's going to start cutting funds left and right to all these cancerous programs. The backlash to feminism has not even been felt yet. Guys, the backlash to feminism has not been felt. And these mentally ill women, because I've said it, feminists are mentally ill. Feminism is a mental illness. These mentally ill women are going to keep trumpeting and acting like everything is okay as everything burns around them. Women are going to scorn feminism for generations. Millennial women are going to scorn feminism for generations and blame it for their suffering, because mass suffering is headed. Women are going to enter what I call the she-cession, where they can't find jobs, they can't get married because men won't marry them anymore, and the government has cut off the free ride that the baby boomer women so enjoyed. And none of these women are going to have Social Security either. You're going to have FEMA camps set up where there are going to be tons of women. You're going to have FEMA camps of women. I've said this already. And a lot of the beta males, they are going to happily opt for sex dolls, for all kinds of virtual reality porn. Guys, people are talking about, all the people, you will always need a vagina. Men will always want, nothing will ever replace a vagina. You guys, you need to look at what's happening in Japan, where a great number of, like half of these men prefer to fuck a sex doll and have no sexual attraction to normal women, to biological women. You think this is a game? The manginas will just simply do this. Even the same men who are talking all this shit, you think these guys are you think the manginas are getting laid? Are you guys out of your fucking minds? The manginas aren't getting laid. They're going to start doing this. VR porn, all this other crap. Women are not even going to be able to get into a relationship with the manginas, who are just going to start avoiding them entirely as well. They're going to say, yeah, I totally support you. You're insane. You're wonderful. You go, girl. And then the women are going to, basically act like women and try to set the stage for sex or a relationship. And the manginas are just going to ignore them and go home and jerk off to their VR porn. The men who actually sleep with women, who actually have relationships, these are men who actually have to have some kind of masculine traits and have to actually initiate sex. These women are shit out of luck. And Saturday Night Live has gone after Kellyanne Conway, and I'm thinking to myself, how stupid are you people? This woman is dangerous to fuck with. She is Trump's right hand. Right hand. She's Trump's right hand. Are you crazy? She has the president's ear. She's his counselor. Her official title is counselor to the president. She can easily go after whoever she wants to, and she will get what she wants. Times are changing, and people need to realize that shit has hit the fan. That we're not going back to 1984. We're entering the post-feminism era. Just like Kellyanne Conway called it. She's a post-feminist. We are entering the post-feminist era. And women who consider themselves victims of society, they are going to suffer at the hands of the government. Women like Kellyanne Conway are going to make sure that they suffer, that they do not have food to eat, that they will not have comforts. She's going to throw these women on the street. If you listen to the disdain in her voice, you can clearly see that she has no good intentions for the libertards. Women can be vindictive. This woman will easily become, you can hear that she's already sounding quite vindictive towards the feminist. And she's not the only one. There are a number of prominent women in Donald Trump's administration. And many of them have very strong views about feminism. Based on the things that they've said, they sound like they really hate it. The education secretary, she's going to dismantle all the programs that they've put in place. For example, school vouchers are going to become normalized again, so parents can put their children in private school and charter schools. What do you think parents who realize that their sons are being indoctrinated are going to do? They're going to pull their sons out of public schools. They're going to put them in charter schools, potentially boy-only schools, or schools that are strongly and prominently against feminism. You know, I know women, there were these two women I worked with, and I found out they were both feminists, and it caught me off guard, and I got so angry when I found out they were feminists. This was years ago, and I had a huge argument with them. Because I had liked them. I really had liked them at the time. One of them I wanted to bang I wanted to bang both of them. We were friends, and then I found out that they were both feminist. And the thing is that now that feminism has crumbled and it's dead, these same women they are weak. They are weak women. One of them is a very weak woman, and I know for a fact that she is going to literally say that she's no longer a feminist. Don't call her a feminist. She might literally start crying if you won't stop calling her a feminist. She may literally start crying if someone says you're a feminist going in the future, because she'll be so overwhelmed by the perception of what it means to be a feminist. All these feminists, women who champion feminists, specifically millennial feminists, are not going to want the label. They're going to literally say, don't put the label on me. They're going to act like they were never feminists. I've made videos already where there are multiple women who were once feminists saying they're no longer feminists, and they want to act like it never happened. A lot of these women are going to find themselves suffering deep in shit. The shit of society that they helped make for themselves, where they are unable to pull themselves out of it because the perception around them is so bad that no one wants to have anything to do with them. This is the post-feminist era. Feminism is being demolished on all sides. And like I said, we have not even seen anything yet. We have not seen the true backlash to feminism yet. Donald Trump just entered office. We have not seen the true backlash. The fireworks are going to start real soon. Over the next year, we're going to see the fireworks begin. And they're going to continue all the way through to 2020. The way things are today versus the way things will be in 2020 will be very, very different. Very, very different. We'll be in a... And let me tell you, Trump's going to win again. He's going to win in 2020. And let me tell you what's funny about that. We're going to have 8 years of feminism being demolished. All right? Being demolished. I mean, the perception, it's going to be harsh. These women are going to suffer so greatly as a result of feminism over the next couple decades, potentially the next 100 years, that they will scorn feminism because feminism has robbed them of their futures as mothers, as wives, of stability. Feminism has robbed them. They thought feminism was giving them everything they wanted. They didn't realize feminism was taking away everything that they would potentially have. They took short-term gains for major long-term losses. That is the major legacy of feminism. And they have no one to blame but themselves, but they won't blame themselves. They'll blame everyone, including men. Including men. There will be women who blame men for feminism. There will be a number of women who blame men for feminism, saying men allowed feminism to happen. Manginas didn't properly stand up. When feminism was running wild, they will blame their baby boomer fathers. They will even blame millennial men for being effeminate and weak. But they will not blame themselves as they mourn the loss of freedoms and privileges. If you look at the video that he was talking about, Big Joe, if you look at what Big Joe was saying, he makes very valuable points. The loss of freedoms are coming. Major losses of freedom. The more that they act up, the more freedoms that they're going to lose. I want to know if you agree that feminism is being demolished on all sides right now. Just want to remind you guys that I make 3 of these videos. I make 3 of these videos every single day. So if you enjoy the video and you want to ensure that I can continue to make more of these videos every day for you guys, please consider going over to my YouTube homepage or finding the link in the description to leave a donation. And if your video request, include your video request in the message section when you send your donation, and I'll make a video for you. But donations help to ensure I can continue to make quality content for you. And you can also become a Patreon if you want to make a regular contribution. Don't forget also that never miss another video from me. Never miss another Angry MGTOW video by clicking on the little notification button right next to the subscribe button on any video. And when you do that, you will get a pop-up that says send me all notifications for this channel. Just make sure you click on that box, hit save. If you've already done it, you don't have to do it again, and you will always get a notification whenever I'm live streaming or whenever I put out a new video. But you'll never miss another video ever again. So let me know if you agree that feminism is being demolished on all sides, what your thoughts are, where you think things are headed, what your predictions are for 2017 in regards to feminism, how it's going to fall, or if you have different theories. Let me know what you think in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MGTOW or death. And cheers.